What is up, my viewers? It is time for a World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is a submission from actually the second submission by this particular individual. His name is R-Winner. He's a relatively new player to the game, judging by the fact of, well, he only has 2,000 battles or so. And kind of low on the skill rankings, the win-8 rankings, but that's honestly gonna happen when you're new to the game. He's actually a bit of the... he's on a decent curve at the moment. I mean, let's face it, with only 2k battles and he's already orange, I mean, there are other players who are doing worse, like plenty of guys on the enemy team. Like that guy with 8k battles and a worse 1-8 rating than him. So, it's always a learning curve in World of Tanks, and I try not to be too much of a stat whore, too much of a judge. Let's just look at the gameplay and see what he's bringing to the table. Now, as you can tell, it is a tier 5 match. He is driving his M10 Wolverine. It is M10, right? I believe the designation is M10. I guess they took that out of the game when they have the sidebars there. But anyway, so far, 1 kill for 1 kill. Hit points still fairly even, and the enemy team actually sending quite a bit to field. His team doing just so as well. That is because it is the encounter battle version of Minsk. Now, I know a lot of people don't like encounter or assault, just simply because, well, the base captures mechanics are a little wonky in that it kind of throws the standard gameplay out the window. And some people say, you know, assault, the defending team almost always has the advantage in counter. People just don't like it because they don't like having a centralized base location, which honestly I don't mind in counter so much. Assault can be a little bit tricky. The defending team oftentimes does have the advantage, but right now, our winner taking up a position close to the base, which I do not necessarily disagree with. That's actually a pretty good strategy in encounter, is going towards the base. That way to make sure the enemy team doesn't capture out your team, more or less. Right here, he's looking for a shot to get on this DW2, and it looks like he will get full hit points worth of damage on him. That is the Derp gun. I don't know what caliber it is, but it is certainly high enough caliber to deal out a good amount of damage. Average damage, 410, and of course it's going to be the 105. The 105 is going to be the typical Derp you're going to see on the mid-tier American tanks. So, more or less the same gun that you're going to have on the M4 Sherman and obviously on the Wolverine here. The enemy team actually not doing too badly for themselves. His team, our winner's team, not doing too poorly either. Both teams pretty even on tank count and pretty even on hit points, although the hit point gap got a little bit wider there. Our winner playing a bit cautiously, which, again, I don't disagree with. If you're a new player, you probably shouldn't rush out to your doom like you see so many other new players do. They are just in such a hurry to get out into the battle that they kind of find themselves in very disadvantageous positions. Not to mention, he's a tank destroyer, not exactly the most heavily armored vehicle on the field, although the Wolverine, if I recall correctly, is decently armored for its tier, no more or less armored than, let's say, a Sherman. So there isn't really a lot of armor per se in the mid tiers. You're going to be hard pressed to find tanks that have good, reliable armor in the mid tier game. So this KV-1 probably not going to take full damage from the Derp, but that's not going to stop our winner from trying. It looks like the enemy KV-1 is going to take about 100 damage, so a decent roll on that, and our winner falling back to reload. Now the plus side to the 105 Derp, it actually has a decent reloading time. The enemy team actually taking the lead here from the field, where they have actually done a pretty good job of taking it to our winner's team. Our winner not exactly getting the shot off there. That was a little bit RNG and a little bit of the server-side reticle. Now, I do highly recommend running server-side reticle. I recommend running a mod that divides it up into 2 different reticles. So my mod pack that I'm currently running, which doesn't actually show up in replays, mind you, has the server-side reticle as a secondary blue reticle, where it shows you exactly where your tank is actually going to fire based on the server ping, based on where the server is calculating your aim at, which is very beneficial to where you don't shoot sides of buildings like that as much when popping around corners. If you're paying more attention to that blue reticle, it actually helps you to get the more reliable shot. Now, that also does... so the default game server-side reticle just turns your normal reticle into the server-side reticle, which makes it a bit difficult. And T1 Heavy here, possibly? No, not going to get derped that hard. Now, for those who do not know, the high explosive rounds don't really get affected by normalization at all. So it's more or less If you're ever wondering why Artie can pen you for full damage with a high explosive shot when they only have like 80 something pen, it's because they hit a part of your vehicle that has 80 or less armor, and it doesn't matter on the angle. The high explosive shells do not care about angling, they only care about armor thickness. Therefore, it is one of those situations where you might want to keep the less armored parts of your vehicle covered. Now, our winner here, one of only 2 vehicles left for his team, T67, almost virtually no armor. It is a paper TD, and as you can tell, that was very poor for him. So our winner at 3 kills right now, and it looks like his team is about to, will he get this kill on the second T67? Nope, he will get tracked and left out in the open. And right there, a little bit of a flinch, which you really should try to avoid when you're starting out in this game. Well, at any point in this game. I've been guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of flinching every now and again. But up to 4 kills on the capture, and if I were him, I would probably just stay here. Though he is making the wise move to go out, I would have stayed on capture. Right there. He's actively pursuing the Stug 3, which isn't a bad decision. Probably a little bit beneficial in the fact that he's not broadcasting his position to the enemy team, but right now he's really just on the hunt, and I would have just given actually, now that I take notice of his hit points, I actually was not paying attention to that. Probably the smarter decision to not keep yourself out in the open. The Stug 3 looking like he was going for a flanking position. Right now he does have a shot backing up. The Stug 3 not taking what little shot he had. Probably a good thing for our winner, and our winner dodging the shot either intentionally or unintentionally. Very good. And like what I was saying right here, the Wolverine actually does have some armor, especially when you angle it like our winner currently is. And there you go, kill number 5 for our winner, and actually doing pretty well for his team. Overall, 15-14, very close match, and just kind of well played for a player with as little experience as he has. Approximately 1,500 damage and 5 kills, not to mention he bounced a couple shots here and there. That's always nice. And like I said, the Wolverine is one of those tank destroyers mid-tier that has some armor. It will bounce some shots, and therefore you can kind of, but not really, depend on it to maybe save you. But anyway, let's go to those post-game screenshots, and they aren't screenshots anymore, are they? It's since everyone just started submitting replays to me via Watt Replays or Quickie Baby Replays or whatever replay website. It's more of a post-game screen. But yeah, let's get to that. Alright, here we go, earning himself high caliber. Again, if I was paying attention to his damage and the damage required for high caliber up at the top there where it normally shows it in the mod pack I have, I probably would have noticed he had gotten high caliber. But, you know, I can't always be aware of everything and anything that is going on in the battle. I am only human and able to keep track of only so much. Still, first class, obviously fire for effect, fighter, shell proof. He got shell proof, which means he actually absorbed his tank's hit points and armor deflection, so that's pretty impressive. Like I said, Wolverine, not a bad tier 5, and he's demonstrating that right now. Even in the hands of a newer player, the M10 Wolverine, yeah, I was right, M10 Wolverine, there we go, is quite a potent force to be reckoned with. Everyone on the enemy team not really even breaking 1,000 hit points, only one other person on his team breaking 1,000 hit points in damage, which was that M4 Sherman possibly rolling the derp. We don't know that for sure, but getting 3 kills, so him and that M4 Sherman. Why was I gonna say M3? The M3 is the Lee. But the two of them definitely carrying their team. A couple of 0 damage, which you're always gonna get, I shouldn't say always, but very commonly gonna get in the lower tiers where there aren't quite as experienced players. Hell, you even get that in tier 10s. Oh, and I guess I should have specified, this is still 9.4 if you were not paying attention to the thumbnail for the video, or the playlist the video is in. But, still, working my way through these 9.4 videos, and, you know, kind of working my way through the 9.5 to my desktop where all the 9.5 replays are stored and going to be rendered is still kind of in the process of getting rebooted since it's recent upgrades, so it's one of those situations of those will come probably this upcoming weekend after this video is uploaded, more or less. Maybe a little sooner, we'll see. But still, not even running premium tanks, which earns him a good amount of credits either way, honestly, and getting himself a decent amount of experience. No one can argue that that was a fairly fine battle and that he should be pretty happy with that result. I mean, it wasn't Mastery Badge first, I mean, Ace Tanker material, obviously, but first class is always nice to get, and overall, well played, especially for a player who is very new to the game. Definitely pretty smart about how he wasn't just charging into more disadvantageous situations. You have no idea, or maybe you do, how many times I see just players run in front of like 5 enemy vehicles, get off one shot, and then get absolutely obliterated just because they thought, I don't know, that their tank could take on 5 tanks, which I don't know what universe they're living in, but that makes no sense in any game, really. No matter how good you are, especially in World of Tanks, your tank has limitations, and you're not going to win a 5v1 when they're all right there shooting at you. Now, if they come at you one at a time and it's 1v1v1v1 kind of situation where they just trickle in, yeah, you have a better chance, and you've got to put yourself into those advantageous situations. But our winner definitely doing all right here. The only thing I have to disagree with was the way he drove out in front of those enemy vehicles out in the open when he was on the cap, and he had those those two T67s and the M8A1 and another vehicle, all those driving out in front of him and trying to take shots at him. That was a bit risky. And that was the really only large criticism I have of him in this match. But other than that, well played, and I hope to see more from you and see you improve in the future. Now, I can't promise that, again, every replay will make it to my channel, but I will always give replays consideration, and I think this one is decent enough to where I will upload it, certainly, as I'm getting through these 9.4 replays, and I'm looking forward to getting eventually to the 9.6. I know 9.7 is actually getting pretty close as well at the time of this. They're about to start the first public test, which means I really need to get on my replay commentary. So look forward to more. I'm gonna try and do at least 1 a day, if not 2 a day, until 9.7 gets out. We'll see if I can actually commit to that, seeing as I have a life and a job that often interfere. But remember, if you like this video, click that like button. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you got a replay, check the description below for instructions on how to submit. And if you got thoughts on how I can make my videos or channel better, well, there's the comment section below for that. But until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off. MLG Dynamo!